Hello, I'm Governor John Wood, and I've been asked to tell some Christmas stories about Quincy. Well, I've got a better Christmas story. It's about my father, Dr. Daniel Wood, and he wanted me to stay in New York and not come out here to the prairie. But as you can see from my fine house back here, I've done pretty good, and I think he'd be proud. Well, Dr. Wood was very educated. He knew several languages, and in 1775 he enlisted in the New York militia as part of the Continental Army. Well, the Continental Army was having some trouble. They had had a couple of defeats, and by December of 1776 they were pulled back into Pennsylvania, and I was there with General Washington and what was left of the Continental Army. They were a little demoralized, and General Washington said, "I've got to do something to help these boys and do something to help keep the British off of our tails." You see, their enlistments were going to be up at the end of the year in 1776, and he was afraid he wouldn't have an army. Not only that, but that rascal, General Howe from the British, had asked any rebel who wanted to be pardoned, all he had to do was take an oath to the crown. So General Washington had an idea. He was going to attack the Hessian fortress at Trenton, New Jersey. Well, that was quite a trek, and he decided he'd do it on Christmas because that would be a surprise. Well, we wanted to be across the Delaware River at midnight, but it was snowy and cold, and there was ice in the river, and we didn't get across the river until 4 in the morning. He split the troops into 2 marching units, and fortunately they simultaneously came to Trenton. He arrayed this in battle with cannon and the men. We started the battle, and very quickly Colonel Rolfe of the Hessians was killed, and they weren't able to put up much of a resistance. We killed a few, but we captured 1,000 Germans, and it kind of turned the tide. So that was Christmas of 1776. Well, the Christmas of 1777 wasn't much better. I was with General Washington and the troops at Valley Forge, and my services as a surgeon were much needed. Well, we did survive and fought another day, and of course 1778 was a lot better. We started defeating the English, and my father stayed in the service, was actually made a captain of a company, and he led troops. I think this sword here he may have carried across the Delaware River with General Washington that night. Well, there was one other episode later in the war, and he took care of a gentleman named Aaron Burr. As it turned out, I'm not sure that he would have wanted to save Aaron Burr had he known what he would do later. But at any rate, my father, Dr. Daniel Wood, Captain Daniel Wood, was very much a part of General Washington's trip to Trenton on that Christmas day.